Welcome into the Pats Nation. I'm Corso. Catone is here. Joe's with us in the booth. You are watching on YouTube, listening on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you podcast. And when you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Give us that like. Give us that thumbs up in this AFC Championship weekend day. Ooh, I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm fired up. But we want to hear from you in heated hotline, 855-313-PATS, P-A-T-S. It's a message line 24/7. Leave us a message. There's a ton to talk about. Have a take, or you can email us in our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com. Hey, we're going to break this whole thing down today. We're going to start it with Drake Mania, talk about the quarterbacks in this game. Drake May, and of course, Stid. Is it Stid? Stiddy. Yeah, we'll talk about two in this game. And we'll go Pat's preview. We'll give you our offensive and defensive keys to victory in this game. And of course, Sunday spread. We're going to pick both of these games today and try to make you a little bit of money in this final, Sunday spread's coming to a close for the NFL, So, gentlemen, Good morning. How you doing? How you guys doing?
Good morning.
Listen, it's AFC Championship. They went one friggin' step away from the Super Bowl. You're asking me how I'm doing?
Think about that for a minute. Has it processed that from where we were 1 year ago?
I didn't even think. Why? Could you sleep tonight? Last night I couldn't sleep.
No.
And I'm not even playing.
From where we were a year ago, guys, to today.
It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable.
It really is unbelievable. You know what I mean? It just shows you all dreams can come true.
Hey, Joe predicted it in August.
He did.
And it's funny you should say that, Mark, because I was actually the only one in August going, hey, listen, you never know. There's still the possibility, just like looking at it from that perspective, what else?
We
come up the worst 2 seasons in 4 years in a row.
Shout out to Joe.
It was like Fantasy Island tattoo. They playing, boss. They playing on Fantasy Island where dreams come true, boss.
Well, we've already gone off the rails. We haven't even begun. But let's talk about this one. Let's talk about the AFC champion. Let's give you some pearls out there, some things to hang on to. Hey, just be thankful it's not the night game. You know what I mean? Because
I don't know if I could do another night game, Chris. Jesus.
Yeah, all day long. So, but we're gonna start with the quarterbacks. We're gonna do it in Drake Mania. Whenever Joe's ready.
That's what I'm talking about.
Not good news. On the second to last play in overtime, Bo fractured a bone in his right ankle. He's scheduled to have surgery Tuesday of this week, which will put him out for the rest of the season. Steady's ready to go. And it was the second to last play before he threw the pass to Mims. Birmingham, he's ready. Like I said this at the beginning of the season, I feel like I've got a two that's capable of starting for a handful of number of teams, and I know he feels the same way. So watch out, just watch.
Then why isn't he?
Well, because they signed him to a 3-year contract, Chris. Right, and then allegedly the rumor also was teams were inquiring about trying to get him, but they didn't want to trade him. He don't want to trade him.
Start on their team.
Yeah, to start.
I don't buy that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Yeah,
that's a falsetto.
That for sure is absolutely a falsetto. So here we are. Stiddy's going to be playing in this game, and I had to play that because does Peyton really believe that, Mark?
He has to believe it for his team, Chris. Whether he really believes it, he has to believe it for his team. What's he going to say to these guys? We're screwed, guys, right?
He's too good of a coach to really believe this, what he's saying.
I don't know. Maybe it's more about him than Stiddy. Maybe his ego is I can get any quarterback ready. I'm that good of a goddamn
we've seen that before. We've seen that ego before, haven't we?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, absolutely. And maybe that's part of, and you know who he's good. His best friend in the coaching for one of his closest friends in the.
Well, I was going to ask you that too.
Is Belichick. Yeah. So,
and I'm wondering, has that conversation happened this week? Has that discussion happened about
in regards to what?
In regard to this is
how do I stop Drake May or beat that defense?
McDaniels.
Yeah.
More so like what are we looking at with McDaniels' offense here? What's going to be the has Belichick weighed in, you think? It's privately to help him out? Because if there's one former look, Brewski wants him to win, McKinney, Harrison, all the former guys, McCourty's, they all want New England to win this game. But there's one former Patriot that does not want them winning this game. And that's Bill Belichick. You know it. You know he doesn't want that.
Yeah. I don't know, Chris. I mean, do you honestly think what's he going to do? Tell him about what McDaniels is going to run? Like,
but in all honesty, I mean, just watch the film. I mean, look, what's he going to?
I mean, you're a professional team. Watch the film. What insight is he going to give on Drake May? Yeah. He clearly was wrong with his draft analysis of Drake May. Clearly.
So okay.
He was on the coverage of the NCAA college playoff championship game. It looked like somebody stuck a goddamn one of those air pumps up his ass. He blew up, for Christ's sakes. I don't know what happened to him. He looked atrocious. The 23-year-old's killing him. He'll be dead in 6 months. She's killing him. There ain't enough blue film.
Live by the 3, die by the 3.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. All right. Let's pull this thing back. So talking about these quarterbacks now, Mark, okay? Yesterday on Corso and Catone, we broke down what went on in that Houston game with May and some of the things we need to see do better. And so here we are now in this game. Okay. We can talk about Stidham when we talk about the defense. Yeah. But let's talk about Drake May. Okay. Obviously putting the ball on the ground, Joe. The guy, he's going off the rails over here. This guy already. Talking about Drake May, putting the ball on the ground as much as he's put it on the ground. Now, again, yesterday we talked about, is it all him? Is it all on him? I put a lot of that on him last week about ball security. The problem, though, Mark, is, okay, if he gets better and he'll hang on to the ball and stronger hands, tucking it away, those techniques that they learn when they're feeling pressure, or, get the ball out kind of thing. Okay, but then those are sacks. So, what do we need to see from May today in order to say
that game, though, Chris? And maybe it's.
I know you said yesterday they won't survive this game if May puts if the ball goes on the ground as much as it did against Houston.
The ball goes down on the ground as much as it did against Houston. That's the only way Stidham can win the game. Is the defense sets him up with 4 turnovers, fumble recoveries, maybe, you know what I mean? But anyway, Chris, listen, and you brought this up on the yesterday. You were a little disappointed in McDaniels because where were the checkdowns? Where were the quick outs if you knew you were getting pressured? Where was the outlet to a running back for somebody out of the backfield? And I thought perhaps you couldn't do that against those linebackers. It was irrelevant. You were never going to be able to do that against those linebackers. But I'm going to tell you something. Against this Denver team, Chris, Buffalo was able to hit running backs out of the backfield. They were able to hit the tight ends out of the so those plays were there. And I would argue Allen missed guys as well. Allen played an atrocious game last week, Chris. That game, Buffalo actually probably should have won that game. Buffalo could have easily, Chris, in my opinion, could have scored 40 points in that game.
If Cook doesn't fumble the ball,
I think the game's a blowout. Change the whole.
They're going to run away with that.
When it happened, I said, Chris, they just gave them life because if they scored on this drive, the game was going to be a blowout.
I agree.
And they gave him life.
I agree. So you put it on
play caller.
The play caller.
Well,
so
listen, I think May's got to have an internal clock, Chris. He has to know I've got X number of seconds to give rid of the ball. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, whatever.
That isn't even 3 out. It's
not
out.
even 3. You got to give it to the goddamn ball.
Mark,
Yeah.
Mark, let me ask you: would there be a slight difference in changing the one position to the check down? You know what I'm saying? Instead of your first read being where it is, instead it being Henderson or somebody or Stevenson on the outside on one of those plays. That's your first look. You know what I mean? That's what I think. What we're talking about is a change.
It's funny that you're saying that because when in the Chargers game, that's sort of what happened. So, like in the Chargers game, you could see what was going on, with May, and McDaniels came in and basically said, what I think happened, because you could see it from overhead. I think his vision shifted from the deep safeties down to the box. Obviously you had to find where James was at all times, but down to the box and reading linebackers so that we can hit those quicker, short, make those checkdowns your number one read, like you're saying, Joe.
Right.
And no, I think there is credence to that, Mark. I mean, maybe not last week so much because of what you said, but I think look, the bottom line is he wants to take deep shots. That's how he is. That's how he's wired. And I get that. He's got Favre in him like that. You know what I mean? But he also has to understand, too, the deficiencies they have out in their front. Now, I think he could have helped. What people haven't said a lot about last week, and I think that he needs to do a better job of, is setting protections better. There was a play last week where he had Ramondre Stevenson in the backfield with him, and he released him. He let him out pre-snap, and he emptied the backfield. So now he was in an empty look, and of course, got sacked, strip sacked. And I said it right before the play. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you letting him out of the backfield? Campbell's going to get run by right now, and you're going to give up the ball. Boom, there it was.
You're right. There it was.
So McDaniels can call what he calls, but Drake May has got to do a better job today of setting his protections. Mm-hmm. He's got to do a better job of seeing it, understanding it, and keeping the help where he needs it.
And Chris, he's going to have to do a better job of setting his protections and understanding what he's looking at, because Houston, Chris, basically comes at you. They don't do much blitzing. They basically just rush the four guys, drop 7 back, put them in the zone, and that's pretty much what they do. Denver's going to bring pressure from different areas, some blitzes from different areas. They usually come with 5. They usually bring an extra guy, but you don't know where it's coming from.
Yep.
Their edge guys back. Kid Bonito is good. He was tied he was up there in sacks with Anderson and all those guys. So he flies off the edge, but he's not as strong, Chris. He's not going to bull rush Campbell. Campbell does better, Chris, with those speed guys than a guy like Anderson who can grab you, move you, go through you. The kid from Denver doesn't necessarily do that. And Denver gets pressure up the middle. Their defensive tackles can get to the quarterback. But May, Chris, to your point, is going to have to be able to understand what's in front of him, especially because Denver will do things more than Houston did. Houston wasn't doing that. Denver's going to do that.
Yeah, it's going to be like when May comes to the line, what you saw against the Chargers is what you're going to see a little more of. So you're going to see a lot of those 2-man games, 3-man games, overloads. Yes. We're going to be back to that again.
Yes,
and when we get to the offensive keys to victory, we're going to talk more about this.
Chris, that it was a good thing that we saw that with the Chargers, because I think now you can go back to that film and say, hey, you remember this? Well, here's what Denver's doing. And it's
incumbent upon May to see this. Okay, read this.
He didn't necessarily do it against the Chargers, Chris.
No, he didn't. But luckily, McDaniels did. But he's going to have to be able to read some of that pre-snap and set his protection properly, and keep Ramondre Stevenson in the backfield, and bring Hunter Henry in, or bring the tight end in a little bit, and let's chip. Let's get some help. Let's get some help here. So that, to me, this is a big deal for him. I have no issues with his accuracy. They're saying the weather now is going to be, now it's going to be like 30 or below. It was supposed
to be in the 50s, Chris. All of a sudden, that forecast changed.
And that's fine. But as long there's no precipitation, You know,
That's
so I don't know
the
that the
key.
cold
I don't
is going
think
to really.
I don't think he
Yeah.
likes precipitation. So you're right. As long as it's you know, if it's in the 20s, he'll be fine.
Right. So I'm not worried about him delivering the ball, accuracy. You know, what I'm worried about is him not having the internal clock, setting those protections properly, getting them in and out of good or bad plays, especially in running game, because the running game is going to be important. When we get into the next segment, we'll talk about that. And I know you'll want to talk about that. But getting him in and out of good running plays. Get out a bad one, get into a good one, because first down is going to be important for this team.
Chris, there was some situations too on this past Sunday that I thought he could have ran out of the pocket more. There were some openings that he hesitated and didn't go through, and he could have went through openings and got yards with his feet, and he did it. And I think he's going to have to do that this week, Chris, against this defense. There'll be opportunities for him to run with the football like he did against the Chargers. Against the Chargers, what do they have? 60, 70 yards rushing. I think there will be opportunities against this defense to do the same thing.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we both agree that Josh Allen had a terrible game.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Mark. He was 25 of 39. He threw for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. He threw 2 picks, and he fumbled the ball 3 times. But the point is, he threw for 3 touchdowns. The Buffalo Bills, Mark.
Chris, he also ran for 66
Chris, the
yards.
game goes to overtime.
Yes. Joe's right.
And they got a shot to win. And if Cooks holds on to that damn ball, Buffalo wins the game. And
which I think he did.
Oh,
I think that's a catch.
Well, yeah, I don't know about that. But listen.
I mean, his knee's on the ground. He's being touched.
Listen, we got Buffalo coming here today in a snowstorm. Instead.
I know. 400, but listen, they gave up 449 yards of total offense, did Denver.
Yes.
And I will argue to you that Buffalo doesn't have nearly the believe it or not, don't have the weapons that New England has. New England's got better weapons than Buffalo's got nobody.
No. They got Cooks, and that's about it, and the tight ends. But their wide receivers, Chris, with all their injuries, they got nothing at the wide receiver position. Nothing. They got tight ends, and they got Cooks. And you're right. They got all those yards against that defense.
But you got to give him the ball. So Drake May, the big thing today, it's you can't turn the ball over. But what does that mean? That's why we're here. What does it mean? You can't give him the ball. But I've been hearing that all week, but I haven't heard anybody simply, how do you not give him the ball? How is it that you not do that? Okay. Well, you have to have more situational awareness. Your pre-snap reads have got to be better. You've got to see what's happening on the defense a little better than you did last week, and you got to get your protection set better. And you got to understand that you got to live to play another day, and that's how Drake May will have a much better game than he did last week. So Drake Mania was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. Saturdays, noon Eastern. Hey, next week we're going to have our breakdown of this game. Hopefully a preview of Super Bowl 60 and the Patriots in it. We'll see. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. When we come back, want to go into Pat's preview, talk offensive keys to victory, and so much more. No flipping.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more Corso and Catone.
Saturdays at noon.
Quarterback gets it out. They do a nice job with moving the pocket in different throws and not just standing back there. I think Sean and his staff have done a great job of, finding the balance of when to throw in the pocket and, 7-man protection sometimes on third down. And, and then again, when they don't, they block them. They do a nice job of blocking them on the edges, and, they try to stay firm in the middle. Again, he's got, the snaps that he has, the 400 so snaps that are, in regular season action. And then they have.
That's the wrong cut, Joe. We're playing the Stidham cut. We'll talk about Stidham when we talk about the defense, but right now we want to talk a little bit about the offensive keys to victory. We want to do it in Pat's preview, and we're going to do it right now.
Pat's preview.
For pass rush so talented, other than the obvious?
They're good. I mean, they're good. They got speed rushers. Zach Allen, I think, led the league in quarterback hits, and he's as athletic of a player inside as you'll find. And that's a tough combination when he's coming inside and then they can't step up, and Benito and Coop, they keep coming, and they do a nice job blitzing. I mean, Vance does a nice job blitzing, but they have they have good personnel. And then when they don't, you know what I mean, they get the, you know, the different pressures. So, you know, we'll have to be ready for the base guys that are in there and then any pressures that are going to come off of it.
Yeah, so that was Vrabel talking about the Denver Broncos defense, who everybody's very scared of this week, okay, who gave up 449 yards last week to the Buffalo Bills, and 28 first downs were allowed last week, Mark,
Chris,
by this Denver defense.
But does anybody
28.
really I said this to you yesterday. Did anyone around here, even the national media, did anybody really watch that Buffalo game? And did anybody watch the Jacksonville game? Because supposedly Jacksonville was, you know, the next hot team, and Buffalo knocked them off too.
346 yards did Denver give up to the Jacksonville with 22 first downs and 34 points. Go ahead.
So this defense, Chris, if you look at them statistically, since the end of November has gone down. They were the number one defense in the NFL going into the middle end of November, and then they slid a little bit. They weren't the number one defense at the end of the season because teams were starting to move the ball on them and do different things. So, you know, I mean, I'm not saying they don't got a good defense. They got a top 5 defense in the league. They're going to be tough. They cause turnovers.
They feed off the crowd.
They do. They feed off the crowd. Oh, the crowd. You know, the crowd. Toughest stadium to play in the NFL.
You know, it's ridiculous. You know what? It's so ridiculous.
Oh, I knew I'd get you juiced up.
Like it's so goddamn ridiculous. Listening all week long. You know, the problem is there's too much time. You people have too much time on your hands between games. Okay, just not to worry. All of a sudden, this is the toughest place that's ever been to play a football game in now. This is the big house. You know what I mean? This is Seattle now. This is Arrowhead.
I know you have the altitude. I get all that, right? I get the altitude and all
that's
that.
That's a real thing. Absolutely.
That's a real thing. But this stadium, Chris, is not as loud as Mile High was. This isn't Mile High. This is the new stadium. When Brady used to go to Mile High, that was a totally different place. The way it echoed, the way it was brutal. This stadium is still loud. But I would argue it's not as loud as Arrowhead.
So what's it going to take? What's it going to take? Well, listen, okay. I mean, Vrabel talks about some of these guys that they have, and he's right. He was talking about Zach Allen, that defensive lineman.
Oh, they got an awesome defensive line.
And good defensive line. Jones is good. Franklin Myers, another good guy. Jonathan Cooper, Benito off the edge, and then dealing with Greenlaw in the middle of that field. Dealing with Singleton.
Greenlaw, Chris, I think has lost a step.
He a little bit after that.
A little bit after he's not what he. There was a couple of plays last week against Buffalo. I'm like, oh, okay, the old Greenlaw would have got there. That he was a little. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then in the secondary, Mark, you look. Surtain is probably the best corner in football. Okay,
yes,
I think
he is. He is.
You got Riley Moss on the other side, who's a service. Now he's a guy. If you're going to beat somebody on this team deep,
he's serviceable, Chris. He's not no special corner.
But Jaquan McMillan, real good nickel corner, real good slot corner. Okay, and then Hufanga is a good safety. You better keep your head on a swivel because that dude's going to come up and knock the snot out of you. You know, you're talking about guys catching the ball in the middle of the field. Joe wants these checkdowns, you know, Hunter Henry, guys like that. Well, once they catch that ball in the middle, they better turn and look because this kid's coming to take
Chris,
their head
off. I think
Hunter
Henry could have a big game today.
Yeah. So what's it going to take, Mark? Okay, so now we've outlined some of the players for them. We know they have a good defense. It's a scheme. It's a game plan specific defense. This is different than Houston. This is not we do what we do. This is, we're going to scheme against you. We're going to show you things. And I told you in the last segment, okay, let's start with our protection, okay? Because what the left side of our offensive line is going to see, they're going to see 2-man game, 3-man game, and overload. 2-man game, it's simple. One guy picks Campbell while the other guy comes on his inside. Or vice versa with Wilson. And it's incumbent upon the two guys, the guard and the tackle, to be able to read it, pass it off, okay, and you know, be able to handle that. They weren't able to against the Chargers. How do they do it today?
Chris, I think a couple of ways you can do it. I think to mitigate that pass, that rush, Chris, and to counter it, you're going to have to use that quick passing game that Joe kind of alluded to a little bit. To mitigate that pass rush, Chris, they're going to need to rely on the short, quick passes. They're going to have to leverage the fact that Diggs, Booty, I'll use Douglas, Chris. They, believe it or not, have performed well against defenses like Denver's. Even though I know Denver has Surtain, I get it. But I do think, Chris, if May is able to read what's in front of him, I think that short, quick passing game and the running game, Chris, will neutralize the pass rush. And I think they can run the ball against this team. I think Ramondre Stevenson could have 100 yards rushing in this game. I really, really do, Chris. The more and more I watched this defense against Buffalo. And that will help slow down the pass rush if you can get Stevenson to run the ball.
Cook ran for 117 yards last week.
Yes.
They allowed almost 5 yards a carry, did Denver. Okay. And then they allowed Josh Allen to rush for 66 yards, which Drake May is ever fully capable of doing.
And that's what I told you on our last segment when we were talking about Drake. I said he's going to have opportunities, Chris, to to run the ball like he did against the Chargers in this game.
And New England is also a good third down team. You know, the Broncos last week allowed, they were the Bills were 10 of 15 on third down. That's good against this Denver team.
It is, and add a little bit of that was Allen, I think, too. I think he didn't play a good game at all, Chris, but he did play well on third down. So he made some good throws on third down last week.
But I agree with you. I think check down is going to be important. I don't see the left side of the slide's issues being completely solved in this game.
No, it's not going to be. It's not going to be.
So you're right. So I see move the pocket, get the pocket moved a little bit. I think there can be more opportunities in the middle of the field against this offense. Against this defense. I think those opportunities will be there. I like if Mac Hollins plays, okay, then I like even more some of those over and under routes, those in cuts, those deep in cuts, and those shallow in cuts, or those over routes, and him opening that up for some other guys like Pop Douglas and like Stephon Diggs, and if Chisholm's in there, like that's how you're going to beat this team. But the ball's got to come out, and so.
And Chris, what you mentioned though about Buffalo on third down efficiency, part of that was because Buffalo on third down got Josh Allen on the move.
Yeah.
And that's why he was so you mentioned last segment, you're gonna have to get Drake comfortable and maybe move him around the pocket, get him, let him roll out and similar to what he did in that first game. Remember the first game at Buffalo? And listen, do you think this place is going to be any louder than that Buffalo Stadium was that night on a Sunday?
Again, I told you what I think. Like it's a loud place, and I get that, and I understand that, but it isn't Seattle.
So, but what you did, Chris, to mitigate some of that night in Buffalo, remember May rolled out several times in that game to complete passes to Diggs, to Henry. I think you're going to have to do that today.
And I think it's incumbent upon
the play caller
to McDaniels in this game.
Sometimes McDaniels, Chris, waits too long to adjust. He gets stuck in whatever he thinks they should be doing, and he adjusts too late, and that drives you crazy.
It drives me nuts because you could see it. It's there. He was great in the Chargers game, in his adjustments. Not so good last week. So I want to see what he does and how early he does it in this game, because there are going to obviously be some adjustments that have to be made with getting May comfortable. And that's what this is about. This is about protecting the quarterback, getting this kid comfortable right off the bat, which means if you got to put him on the move, get him hit a little bit just to get him comfortable, fine, do it. But that's what this is going to be about. Don't turn the ball. Like, if they don't turn the ball over in this game, they should win this game. I mean, there's no reason to me why you can't win this game.
If they come out of this game clean, Chris, with no turnovers, no fumbles, nothing, you're right. I think you got a real good chance of winning this game. I think it's going to be hard to beat them if they don't give if they come out of this game, no turnovers, clean game, I think it'll be hard to beat them.
And I understand the attraction and the want to get Henderson on the field because of his big play ability. You know, he can pop one. You know, like if there's no contact and he's clean through the line,
he'll go. No, he's gone. You know, yeah, he's gone.
The problem
that's the go-to of what you guys what we're all talking about the check down quote unquote game and that short game at the beginning, but using that as a choice and using Henderson as the guy to pop it out to him and let him explode. And then Denver's on the in the ropes trying to figure out what we're doing.
Chris, it's tough to get him in space because to me, when you put him in that passing game, all his explosive plays this year, Joe, have been through the running game, not in the passing game. It's to me, Chris, when
bouncing to the edge.
Yeah, when you get him in the passing game, Chris, once he catches it, it's almost like he runs into contact and he goes down.
And I was just about to say that. The problem is, Joe, he's been running to contact. He went through this spell in the season where he was running to contact. You know, that's it. You know, like, well, you saw last week where Stevenson got the ball. He started on the left. Okay.
Bounced it out.
He spun. It was just one play he started. He put a spin move on somebody, and there was a crease. And then he bounced. And it was a huge gain. Henderson just can't, he's not giving you that. It's one look, one read, runs to contact, down. And so to me in this game, I'll tell you what I like. You know, I need to see Stevenson healthy and in this game more so than Henderson. And I want to see them utilize Stevenson in the pass game. This is the game today where he's releasing out of the backfield, where you line him up wide, where you see Stevenson lined up on the outside. And let's see if a linebacker can come out. Let's see if Greenlaw can come out and cover this kid.
Are you going to need to keep him in, though, for pass pro?
Possibly, but I think if you are going to go spread, if you are going to go empty, I want to see what that looks like. And I also want to see that release through the B gap and run that little corner route, run that little 7 route there where he releases through B and then he ends up running to the corner, you know, and Drake May hits that. So again, it's all going to be contingent upon protecting the quarterback. Obviously, we know that. But there are definitely plays that can be made against this defense. You know, and we've seen teams do it. We've seen, you know, nobody in New England thinks much of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nobody does. I do. I think they're a good, talented offense, but nobody else does. But they put up 346 yards on this team, 22 first downs and 34 points. So, you know, now you're going to tell me, well, you don't have the offense Jacksonville. Well, I haven't heard that. So, you know, so to me, I think you can do it. It's just a matter of, you know, how much is Josh McDaniels going to be willing and able to adjust quickly, like you said, Mark, and then we'll see what happens. So give me your final 2 keys to victory offensively, and then we move on.
Running the ball. You're going to have to, Chris, I honestly think you can run the ball on this team. You're going to have to run the ball, and May's going to have to run the ball. He's going to have to do what he did against the Chargers. When this game's over, if we win, you know what the stat line's going to be? Ramondre Stevenson, 130 yards rushing. Drake May, 50 yards rushing.
60, something like
60
that.
yards rushing. No turnovers, 50, 60 yards rushing. And that'll open up everything else you talked about, Chris. The reads, the setting protection,
play action.
That'll open up all of the stuff that you mentioned, Chris. If they can do those 2 things.
Yeah. So those are the keys. We'll see what happens on offense. But when this portion of Pat's preview was presented by Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm, CorsoLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. We come back, going to continue in Pat's preview, give you our defensive keys to victory, a little coaching, and then we'll get to Sunday spread. Stick around.
No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys.
No. I don't think much of Jarrett Stidham. I didn't think much of him when he was here. It's going to be interesting to see how Sean Payton adjusts because he has sort of built that offense around Bo Nix and really featured his running ability. Like, they have a lot of designed runs, a lot of boots. Jarrett Stidham does not move. He does not move well. He is heavy-footed. He is not a very good athlete. He can make some throws once in a while, but he always seemed to me as a guy who got flustered easily, would look at the rush. You can get pressure. I mean, I think it's going to be 3 weeks in a row of the same game plan.
And that was, of course, Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal talking about Jarrett Stidham and this Denver offense. So now, Mark, throw out all the stats from the week prior weeks with Bo Nix because they don't have him now. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do they have? What do we need to worry about playing this off? Because look, I'm going to say this real quick on Stidham, and then you go.
Steady.
Just let's keep in mind, everybody out there, this one thing, okay? This is an NFL quarterback, okay? And every NFL quarterback, if you give him a clean pocket and somebody's open, can step up, stand up, step into a throw, and deliver a throw.
Absolutely. That's why they're in the NFL.
Okay. Go ahead.
Chris, the key is going to be you're going to have to rattle him. And when I say rattle him, similar to what you did to C.J. Stroud, you're going to have to get pressure on him, Chris. You're going to have to bring pressure. You're going to have to get to him early. Yes, the first 15, 20 plays will be scripted by Sean Payton. I get that.
That'll be the most comfortable you see him all day.
And he'll probably look pretty good. But then you're going to have to settle in defensively. The key to this game, Chris, is you're going to have to rattle him into mistakes. Because every game he has started, Chris, in the NFL, he's only started 4, by the way.
Right.
He's had 2 interceptions, I think, in every game. At least 2 interceptions in every game. He's thrown 2 interceptions in every game, Chris. So if that's going to be the case, and going in, if we can rattle him, we'll get at least 2, maybe. That puts you in a pretty good situation, Chris. Maybe you get 3, not 2.
When I look at the strength of this offense, it's their offensive line. Now, when you say, okay, they got a good offensive line, over there with Bowles, and I would say Garrett Bowles is one of the best tackles in football.
He is, and with that being said, Chris, will we be able to rattle him then because of that offensive line?
Okay.
How do you get pressure?
I tell you this. Bowles, like I said, is one of the best left tackles in football against a rush. Okay? Pass protection. This is a good Denver team that can pass protect really well. They have not been a good running team lately.
No, lately.
Earlier in the season, they were running the ball pretty good clip. Now, they may get their running back healthy again. Dobbins, right?
It's going to be a game time decision, I think.
But so they can pass protect for sure. But I don't know that they can run the ball that well. And for New England, okay, let's just start it from the beginning. Because look, how do you protect a quarterback that doesn't play? That hasn't played, that doesn't know what you try to run the ball.
You try to run the ball, yeah.
You try to put him in 3rd down and manageable. You don't put him in 3rd and 8s, 10s, 12s, negative plays. You don't do that. You try to get him into 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 1. That's what this team's going to try to do for Stiddy, okay, in this game. And I don't know if they can do that, especially how New England's run defense has been playing because guys have gotten healthy now. Tonga's back. Okay. And this is another week now, even more healthy than he was the previous week. Milton Williams has been great in the running game. I love how Ellis, and I've been on their ass all season long, these backers, Mark. Okay. But the way Ellis and Spillane and even Gibbons, for that matter, have been coming forward and filling and their run fits, making their defensive linemen right, getting into the proper gaps, setting that wall, building that wall. They've been great. They've been the best defense in the playoffs, this team.
Yeah, they have been.
So if you can stop this team from running the ball and say, no, we're not doing that today.
Stidham's going to have to throw the ball 40 times to beat us.
Stiddy's going to have to beat us.
Yeah, Stiddy.
That's the key.
So Good.
Listen. This is the kid that I want to take. It's been a while since we've talked about taking a quarterback off his spot. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So many of these quarterbacks can run.
Yes.
So many of them can get out and they can move and they can make plays. I'm not saying.
Well, I think he can move, Chris. Not as well as Nick's, but I think he can move out of the pocket and make plays.
I don't agree necessarily with everything Bedard said about how flat-footed he is and how heavy-footed he is. He is.
I don't think he is, but I think he can get out of the pocket, Chris.
But Bo Nix, okay?
He's not Nix.
No, but Bo Nix ran for 450 yards behind the line of scrimmage all season long. That's how much they move him around. You can't do that with this kid. You can't do it. It's going to be overload. He's not going to be able athletically to do that. And to me, I think you need to force him to do it. I think you need to get him off his spot, because the only chance this kid has of having any success against you is if he stands in the pocket and has a clean pocket and can deliver a football. That's it. He's not going to do it on the run. He's not going to make off-script plays. This is not going to happen with Stidham.
Yeah.
So how do you do it?
Yeah.
How do you do it? You have to, we talked about rushing 5 guys, pinching
Chris,
and coming up the middle.
You're going to have to do what you did against the Chargers. Because against the Chargers, after the game, some of the players told some of the Patriot players, we had no idea what you were in. We didn't know what you were doing on defense. Listen, if you are able to do that against this team today, if Hebert didn't know what you were in, and listen, he's a better quarterback than Stiddy, you're going to tell me you can't confuse him after the first after they script those first 20 plays or whatever they're going to script? You mean to tell me you can't disguise what you're in against him? He who hasn't started a game in a real game against real starters since 2023. I don't give a shit. He won scout. He does whatever he does in practice. That's a bunch of horse shit what he's doing in practice.
Yeah, I agree.
One of their players said today, he's running it better than the starter. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not running it better than Bo Nix. Go sell that to somebody else. Go sell it to somebody else. Come on. I got a goddamn piece of land too, piece of swamp land. I'll sell you for $1 million, you goddamn buffoon. If you think anybody's believing that story.
No, he's right. But Joe, he's right. I mean, look, these guys have to believe in whatever they got to believe in. They're one game away. This team, this offense, they're one game away from the Super Bowl. So they're going to be trying. They're going to be busting ass for this kid, no matter what they can do. Everybody on the scary part about Denver this week is the fact that every person on that team feels like they have to step their game up.
There's a lot of pressure on the rest of the team.
But when you got a professional unit that all feels like they need to lock in even more, that's a little dangerous when that happens. That's when things that shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? So, again, and it's got to happen early and often. So I'm with you. I'm lighting this kid up.
You have to, Chris. You have to.
And then that brings us.
Nationally, though, you're right, Chris. They turned this kid into Joe Montana, Joe.
I know.
They turned this kid into Joe Montana this week.
You should be offended, Joe.
Joe! How about the guy that was on the Rich Eisen show this week, Chris, saying that his A game, Stidham's A game, and May's A game, there isn't much difference if they both bring their A game.
What A game?
Rich Eisen looked at him and said, I think his name was Jordan Schultz, and he said, you mean to tell me Drake May's one of the finalists for MVP? Stidham's A game's as good as Drake May's? And he said, yeah, he really is.
Let me ask you this.
That's how crazy it's become this week, Chris.
What quarterback in his rookie season played in other stadiums against every other team, and every star player and every head coach from the other team said something about that quarterback, meaning Drake May, last season? Every team at the end of the highlights, their star player and
they got a quarterback.
Or at least their quarterback.
They got a guy
and their head coach. Yeah. They all said, I've never seen that happen, not with Brady, not with anyone.
Harbaugh said it, although I think he's, I think he's 3 sheets to the wind now, this Jim Harbaugh. But, I mean, he said it after that game last year. Oh, no, he's right. He's right. You're not saying that about Stiddy. Nobody's
Never
saying
heard
that
it.
about Stiddy. You know, I mean, Vrabel. Listen, this is what Vrabel had to say about their
The
offense.
quarterback gets it out. They do a nice job with moving the pocket and different
He's
throws.
got to say this though,
not just standing back there. I think Sean and his staff have done a great job of, finding the balance of when to throw in the pocket and, 7-man protection sometimes on third down. And
I can't wait to see that.
And then
I'd
again,
love
when
to
they
see that.
don't, they block them. They do a nice job of blocking them on the edges, and they try to stay firm in the middle. Again, he's got the snaps that he has, the 400 so snaps that are in regular season action, and then they have a lot of snaps on what they want to do. So we'll have to be prepared for the plan and the things that they've shown. I'm sure there'll be some things that they haven't shown. He's more than capable to go out there and operate, and it's why he's a backup and one that was coveted around the league.
He might as well have just said
That doesn't
this.
mean shit.
I mean, I've never heard so much bullshit in my life.
But Chris, that was quite opposite. Sean Payton saying our crowd will have 2 weeks to rest before the Super Bowl,
I know.
so they got to bring it. And then he tried to walk it back. And Vrabel said, "Oh, we don't need bulletin board material. We're ready. We're focused. With this, oh bullshit! You don't think he's telling his locker room the coach already has them moving forward against us?
Yeah, you can't unring that bell.
That bell's been rung. He screwed up. That bell's been rung. You're not.
So
you heard they brought that up to Keyshawn Booty. You heard what he said?
Yeah.
And they're talking about, you can rest for 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, this and that. He said, yeah, they can go rest in Cancun too. When they lose, in other words, you know what I mean?
So, okay. So again, I think it's a similar game plan that we're going to see. I think your safeties are going to sit flat-foot reads again. And Mark, we didn't talk about the wideouts, but look, Mims, Sutton's a good receiver.
A collection of good wideouts, Chris. I mean, they're not elite wideouts, but they're a good collection of wideouts.
Nothing I'm concerned about playing man coverage against these guys. If Christian Gonzalez can't take Sutton out of this game, then he ain't the guy.
He ain't the guy. You're right. And he's not worth all that money.
And he's the guy. He's the guy. I mean, the way he's been playing up till now, you play a lot more man, and you make it confusing for Steady, whatever the hell they call him over there.
Steady.
They're going to have problems. Their offense will have problems. They won't be able to run the ball. But to me, the key is on first down. You've got to win on first down. You've got to force this kid into third and longs, second and longs, third and longs, situations where he's got to sit, deliver the ball under pressure, and he will be under pressure all day. Crowd's not going to be a problem then because the crowd's going to keep their mouth shut when their offense is out there.
Can I add to this, Chris?
Yes, you may.
Can I add to that first down? One of the key players in this, to me, is somebody's got to light a fire on the Barmo's ass and get him, because he's only got enough airways to do first down and get pressure in there early.
And they're going to be watching him. They're going to be watching him closely because of the blood clots and all the stuff he's had in this weather and that altitude. That's something they got to pay attention to with this kid, health wise. But no, I'm with you. Yeah, listen, it's going to be similar game plan. You're going to see a lot of pressure coming from different places, zero looks, and don't let up. That's my thing. Don't let up. Don't let him breathe. Don't give him any room.
Early in that Houston game, Chris, you were pissed off because you said, "Where's the pressure?" Remember?
Yeah.
And then they started bringing it, and they didn't stop bringing it.
Right. And that just has to be coming off. You got to get off the bus bringing pressure. That's it.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna die with that, if Stidham's gonna face a blitz, if he's gonna face a zero look, and you don't know where it's coming from, and he's gonna step up, he's gonna find a hot read, and he's gonna get him in and out of good plays. And Sean Payton's a great coach, I'll give you that, but he can't play. He can't get out on the field, and so it's incumbent upon his guy to get them in and out of good plays, to have good pre-snap reads. Good luck, and never having that played in 2 years.
If he's able to do that, Chris, without throwing a pass in a regular season game since 2023,
give him the game.
Give him the game. You beat us. Hey, you beat us.
And in that situation, they should win the Super Bowl too. Then,
yep.
If that happens,
and if we lose to this team, Chris, and a backup quarterback, we ought to be ashamed of ourselves.
Absolutely, I agree. This one, I agree with you 1,000%. over, and then we'll get to the next segment. We do the picks. We're going to talk about that too. But Pat's preview was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal New England Field. Saturday's noon Eastern. Next Saturday, we're going to break down the post game of this Broncos game and hopefully have a look ahead to Super Bowl 60. But when we come back, going to go Sunday spread, make you a little money on these games, and give our final picks. Stick around.
Mark, I'm serious. I think I lost my mind.
Certainly, it was an exciting show.
I want Murray.
What?
That's
crap?
it.
What is wrong with
Get him on this damn show.
you? Lost your mind tonight.
That's all I have to say.
Lost your mind.
What are you writing now?
So I'm working over here. You're talking about nonsense. I'm working.
That's why we are the real deal New England Field. It's going to be real.
Oh, it's going to be real, all right. Back in with more Pat Sting, man. I'm ready to kick off. Kick the ball off now. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. But before we do that, though, we got to give you some picks. We got to give you our locks, the locks of the week. Give you make some money, make our picks of this game. We're going to do it in Sunday spread. All right.
Had a
Okay.
pretty good week last week.
Not bad. Not bad. I mean, you know. All right. Well, let's go to the other game first. All right. Let's talk about the Rams at Seattle.
Yeah.
2.5. Seattle's favored 2.5. It's a 46.5 point over. What do you think? By the way, twice they played this year, both games combined total of like 3 points. So one game was won by one game was won by 2, and they split this season.
This is a tough one, Chris. It's a tough one.
It's tough. Seattle's got a real good defense. Seattle may have the best defense. I think Houston does, but
Seattle's right up there.
Yeah.
Seattle's right there. How about this? Bury the over in this game. Bury the over in this game. Bury it.
Yeah. Check the weather, but bury the over.
Check the weather. If the weather's okay, there's going to be points in this game, Chris. I'm telling you right now. I like I'm going to take Seattle at home to win this late with a field goal. Late. Real late.
Yeah, I like them too. I like it too. And I think Seattle's going to win. So you think they're going to cover? You're going to win by 3? It's a 2.5 point spread.
They win by a field goal late.
Yeah. I'm taking Seattle in the over in this game because I think Seattle's going to win by 7 or more points this week. I really like Seattle in this game. Okay. Watching the Rams, okay, they're life and death in every game, it seems.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to say this, and I mean it. There's been a lot of moments that Stafford's have that I thought, this don't look like an MVP right now.
Yeah.
And I just feel like going into that place, playing that kind of defense, I don't know that the Rams are going to be, lighting it up all over the damn field like people think they're going to be doing against this Seattle defense. The key to this game is going to be on the other side of the ball. Is Darnold going to give the ball away too many times? I'd rather play them if we're going to the Super Bowl. That's the.
If we go to the Super Bowl, I'd rather play Donald.
Yeah, because that's a big key to this whole game. Is what the hell's Donald going to be like in this game? Because he'll give you the ball. He's had some rough games where 3-4 picks, and once they start, they don't seem to stop. But they got your guy on offense, Mark.
Why are you going to remind me about Smith Najiba?
Wouldn't it be interesting? Wouldn't it be interesting if New England gets to the Super Bowl and they play Seattle?
Smith, Najiba, and Gonzalez.
That the winning play is Najiba catching a touchdown pass over Gonzalez?
You
Mark,
don't even know what I would
Joe,
you might have to call a rescue for me.
He'll break everything in his house.
You have to call the rescue. They'll have to take me for a mental health evaluation.
Because for those of you who don't know, Mark, when the draft happened and Belichick took Gonzalez, Mark was screaming for them to take Smith and Najiba over Gonzalez in that draft. Wow. So all right, we like Seattle. Joe, who do you like in this game?
But I got something interesting when we get to the New England game. You'll see what I'm going to do with this Seattle game.
All right. I don't know. You guys sold me on the Seattle game, but I don't know. I think it's going to be an MVP showdown in the Super Bowl.
A lot of people
they've been calling it all season. Everybody's been MVP at this and that, and so I think it's going to be Drake May against Stafford Super Bowl. So I get the Rams.
Stafford's going to win the MVP the night before the Super Bowl, and Drake May is going to be the MVP of the Super Bowl.
That's what I'd rather. That's what I'd rather.
Of course, yeah. Who the hell doesn't want that? That's the key. Yeah, right? Absolutely. All right, so there's that game. All right, Mark. Let's pick our game now. Oh, so okay, just so
you're gonna go with Stiddy.
Well, wait a minute. Patriots are favored by 5.5. It's a 42.5 point over under. Just understand, this is the longest spread, right? In a championship game, I think in I don't know how many years.
Like I think Sean Payton's going to use that as bulletin board material for his guys too.
And by the way, any other time that there's been a spread like this, they haven't covered. No team.
No.
Does history repeat itself then? 5.5 is a lot of points in the championship game.
It's a lot of points, especially on the road. You want me to go first?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you. The world is waiting for you.
Despite what everybody thinks about Stiddy, I don't think Stiddy ain't gonna pull it off.
Yeah.
I like New England, and unlike everybody else, I don't think Denver's as good as everyone thinks they are. They've won a lot of games late, last possession against teams like the Giants.
Yep.
In their home
every game.
In their home stadium with this vaunted crowd, the Giants had them beat.
Where's Paul from Providence? Where's
Paul,
his Giants?
where the hell are you, Paulie?
God damn it, Paul! If the friggin' Giants won that game, we'd be playing this game at home.
We'd be playing this game in Foxborough. Listen, 31-17 Patriots.
That's an interesting number because I have it at 34-17 Patriots.
Okay, so you're kind of in the same ballpark as me.
Look, Mark, you can't. Buffalo scored 30 points with almost 500 yards of offense. Jacksonville scored 34 points with 350 yards of offense. Even Green Bay scored 26 points with 362 yards of total offense.
Yeah.
And that's against their starter. That's against Bo Nix, who isn't giving you the ball back as much. You know, where there's going to be, and when I say about Bo Nix and I say about Stidham playing offense and how's that help the defense? Well, if there's more 3-and-outs, that means Drake May gets more opportunities with the ball. So if Denver's got to punt more, that means we get more chances on offense. That's why I think they could score the 34 points. Yeah, I got a 34-17. I don't think I have any issue covering, and that also takes care of the over in this game. You said you wanted to do something different. What do you have? Something special you said.
So
I'm writing it down, so make it good.
Okay, okay, you take Seattle, given the 2.5. But then I'm gonna tease.
Are you allowed to tease only 2 games?
Yeah, you can. Absolutely, you can. I'm gonna tease New England and the Rams. And I'm going to hope that Seattle wins it late with a field goal because I'll win that bet. And then the Rams are going to get 8.5 points. And I'm going to and the Rams are going to so I'm going to win both bets.
There you go. Interesting, huh? So you're going to take New England's line at 5.5 and you're going to give
I'm going to tease them down.
So that it's half a point or whatever.
Half a point, whatever it is. And I'm going to go the other way I'm going to take the points. I'm going to tease up the Rams.
So you're going to make it like 9-point spread, an 8.5 point spread?
Yes. Yep.
Where the Rams are getting that much. But Seattle still wins the game, but
Seattle's going to win by the field goal. They'll cover the 2.5 though.
Okay. Well, there you go. So there's our breakdown, and that's how you can pay attention, because we've been making some money this year with some of these picks, so pay attention to that. But the Pats Nation was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. Saturdays, noon Eastern. Next week, we're going to have our breakdown of this Broncos AFC Championship game, a hopeful look ahead to Super Bowl 60, Catone's comments, so much more. And come back to this show next weekend, 8 a.m. Eastern. Going to give a season recap. Regardless, we're going to have a season recap, that in-between week of the Super Bowl, and hopefully, we'll be starting our Super Bowl 60 prep with the New England Patriots. We are the
Chris,
Pats Nation.
One stat we didn't talk about. Do you know they only beat the New York Jets by 2 points, Denver?
I know. It's going to be life and death. Let's see how it goes. We are the Pats Nation. Hey, enjoy the game, everyone. Falsetto.